I am now about...
Ladies and gentlemen, pre-crime is officially here.
I am now about to launch Gideon, America's first ever AI threat detection platform built specifically for law enforcement. It scrapes the internet 24/7 using an Israeli-grade ontology to pull specific threat language and then routes it to local law enforcement. It's a 24/7 detective. It never sleeps, and it's going to get us in front of these attacks. I've got a dozen agencies on board, Trace. I just onloaded a major Northeast agency with over 2,700 sworn. This is America's early warning system.
It's America's early warning system to stop anti-Semitic attacks.
Shalom. First off, I want to start off by saying all praises, honor, and glory is unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem HaKadosh. That's all praises to the world called God, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh, Bahashem in the name, and Yahweh Shai being the name of the only begotten Son. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and mercy to the whole elect, preaching word and truth and sincerity. On the brother talks about the Great Millstone, Arizona, Camp Lord Wood, with another video to edify. And you heard what it said. You heard what it said. All right. Now they're coming out with a whole Palantir-like system. All right. All for the purpose of predictive policing. All right. Where pre-crime is going to be determined as, what we know as crime today. Oh, yeah, there's a high probability that you'll commit this crime soon. And you see that it's all tied around what? Anti-Sem rhetoric, right? It says this is the speaker, Mike Johnson, right? This looks like his Twitter. It says that this violent anti-Sem attack is heartbreaking and deeply disturbing. We pray for the victims and for law enforcement to deliver swift justice. All right. And then what do you say? It says Aaron Cohen, official. Appreciate the words, Speaker Johnson, but justice after the fact isn't enough. You see, justice after the fact isn't enough. How do you put out a judgment before somebody does anything? You can't. Right? Justice is always after the fact. Right? It's a vindication for transgression. That's what justice is. But now these devils are going to sit here and come up with a whole way to pre-police the world. And really all it's going to get at is them coming down on the truth and on the men that preach it. It says, I built Gideon to stop it. It's an AI-powered threat detection system that scans open web and social and social for signs of radicalization, target casing, manifesto writing, and tactical planning. You see, this is what they're doing. And this is all to clamp down on the truth. And everybody is going to be coming to the point, and whatever the walk they're in, whatever frame they're in, everybody's going to come to the point where, the men of Great Millstone, starting off with the elders and apostles, they always were teaching the right thing, and it's there. It's there. This crackdown is serious, right? And what does it spell out? The famine of the word, and that's all coming on the horizon, man. This is Isaiah 32 and 7. It says, you know what? I'll start at 5. It says, the vile person shall no more be called liberal, nor the cruel said to be bountiful. Right? So these wicked ass Edomites that have been going out and doing all this wickedness this entire time, they're not going to be said to be bountiful. They're not going to be said to be liberal. They're not going to get away with everything. It says, for the vile person will speak violently, and his heart will work iniquity. And what is iniquity? Sin upon sin. So his mind is always focused on the next sin. But for them, it's just this sin is as normal as breathing. It's that natural. This is why when these Edomites, when a Jake does something wicked, these Edomites condemn him. But what an Edomite does, just like that Jeffrey Dahmer movie, somehow they wrote the script for this cracker to make you look at his childhood and why he would develop into this instead of just villainizing the nigga from the jump and be like, this nigga's a monster. They sympathize with the wicked. It says that's what even in the Disney movies, you have the movie Maleficent. Right? When I was a kid, right, Maleficent was a wicked witch. She was evil. There was no good to be seen of her. Now, what are the movies all centered around? They're all making these spin-offs for all the villains and an origin story that makes you see their side of the story and sympathize with them. That's a wicked work. It says to practice hypocrisy and to utter error against Yahweh, to make empty the soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. And are they not doing that now with the removing of social services? Are they not doing that now? Right? Trying to cut retirement for people or increase retirement age. They're literally making empty the souls of the hungry. There's a lot of Jake that can't even. Sorry. There's a lot of Jake that can't even work no more when they get up to that age. And these devils are cutting their food stamps. But while they were young, they didn't give them a chance to fucking breathe. And the scriptures even said that he that gathered not in his youth, what shall he have in his age? It says verse 7, it says, the instruments also of the churl are evil. And it says he deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor. And that's what you see in this whole Gideon system. This is a wicked device to destroy the poor, and the main target are the Israelites and the men that are preaching the word of the Lord. Because ultimately, bros are taken care of, man. Bros are taken care of. Bros got careers and jobs, and they labor, they work hard for what they got, with a little bit they got. But man, when you really get into it, man, the bros that are preaching this word, you might be in a decent position. But bro, all of us are poor, essentially, but really, we devote our life to the work of the Lord, man. And that comes with having to cut off a lot of certain opportunities that the world could have afforded you, so you can just stick and do the work. Right? Just like Yahushua. It said Yahushua suffered the loss of all things. He gave it up. Yahushua was a carpenter. That's a big time money making job. He was a carpenter. He left it all to the side. Paul was a tent maker. Right? Many men in the scriptures had these professions that would have made them hella bread. But to serve the Lord, they left those things alone, so they became poor. Right? And that's what we do. So when they're taking these shots, when they're making these devices, it was really against the ones that are preaching the word of the Lord, man. It says, with lying words, even when the needy speak of the right, and that's the main point. Because a lot of the things we say that are against this devil's kingdom, he's getting ready to sit here and point you as a threat, as a physical threat. And now they're going to use this whole system to say, oh, well, because you said this and that in your video, we believe you're a threat and we got to take you out of here. This is pre-policing. This is Wisdom Solomon 2:1. It says, for the ungodly said reasoning within themselves, but not aright. This is the thoughts of the ungodly. Our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. So in their mind, it's YOLO. That's what it means by neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. Meaning YOLO, everybody lives once. That's how they think. But remember, the scriptures say this is the ungodly's thoughts, and they're not thinking right. I'm gonna jump down to God. This is he's grievous sometimes to behold. Trying to figure out where I want to. Here it is. Verse 9. It says, "Let none of us go without his part in his voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place. For this is our portion and our lot is this." So these devils know that it's their time to live up. It says, verse 10, it says, "Let us oppress the poor and righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age. Let our strength be the law of justice. For that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth." And that's what they're doing. They're bolstering their strength, and it's all being bolstered. What the hell?
Ladies and gentlemen,
It's all being bolstered by policy, legislation. This is why it says in Daniel chapter 9, verse 8. Yeah. Chapter 8 and verse 24 or 25. It says, and through his policy, right? Also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand. And that's what this is. This is a crafty thing. Pre-policing. Who's overseeing and where is the board of people that oversaw the coding for this AI system to detail, oh, well, this is a this is a good idea, that this is a crime that's about to happen. He's legit just about to do this. Who's the person that had the oversight? Who are the group of people? This is literally private policy to put Jake under harder scrutiny, just like child support, right? Child support is not actual law. It's policy, right? It's policy through a separate organization, has nothing to do with law, right? But they're able to pass it on the people like it's all because it's written under the color of law. You don't ever even see a real judge in those pre hearings for child support. A lot of that is just somebody that works in the court. It's not even a judge. It says, through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. Right? Because the Lord is the one that's going to answer this devil. Now, I want to bring this up because, well, we know that this is what's happening. Let me get Amos 8. In 11, it says, "Behold, the days come, say Yahweh power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh." You see? Because what? This is bread and this is water. The word of the Lord. The scriptures tell you that the Lord was going to feed you with knowledge, with wisdom and understanding. So the men that actually bring these scriptures out in the right way, in the spirit of the Lord, jumping from precept to precept, on point, breaking down prophecy, bringing in the information to back it, and all tying these things together through the spirit. That's like they have a term, food for thought. Well, this is the food for the spirit, right? The lessons going into faith, the lessons going into how you're supposed to behave yourself, character building. All these things are food for the spirit. And the Lord said, what? There's going to be a day coming where there's going to be a famine of hearing the word of the Lord. Right? And it says, and they shall wander from sea to sea And from the north even to the east, they shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh and shall not find it. And that's the days where we're in. Now, going from this report of the pre-policing and understanding that the whole thing is to go against anti-sim, right? And they're gonna try to label us anti-sim. And we're part of sim, right? We're part of shim. Now you go to this video with bros where the elder brothers were out there preaching it, and hear what Jake said.
But a corrupt tree bringeth forth evil. John the Baptist.
You guys were right. Y'all was right all along. You were right all along. Everyone else was wrong.
Right, it's right.
10 years ago, 15 years ago, gentlemen standing on 34th Street, 7th Ave,
That was us.
predicted everything.
That was us.
Everything.
Those are leaders. Those are leaders.
And then now when I'm going around looking for y'all, I'll see y'all know.
There's going to be a cry for wine in the streets. There's going to be a cry for wine in the streets.
And I'm like, holy shit. I would never guess. Like, and then you know this is the craziest part is that now I would like Jesus.
You see that? You see that? Jake said, y'all were always right. The men that were on 34th and 7th in New York, our elders and our apostles, and they've been preaching for 40 years. 40 years. Well, what was his name? Noah? He was preaching for 100 years before the flood. And nobody took it serious. But now these things, these prophecies are hitting, like the scriptures say, Habakkuk 2. Get that real quick. Habakkuk 2. And 1, it says, I will stand upon my watch and set me upon the tower, and I will watch to see what he will say unto me, or what I shall answer when I am reproved. So what is the standing upon the watch? Meaning you're constantly looking at the prophecies. You're constantly looking at the state that the world is in and trying to find how those things measure up to the scriptures. Right? It says in verse 2, it says, and he answered and said unto me, and he answered me and said, write the vision, meaning go into these prophecies and make it plain. Break these things down for the people and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it, meaning that they can easily understand. That's what bros have done. We went through prophecy after prophecy, blinked it into the scriptures. Certain bros love to go into Bible commentaries, and go into the other versions of the Bible. You got the NLT, the GNT, to paint the vision even more plain. Right? For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. And we're at the end of this world where the prophecies are speaking, meaning it's evident. You would have never thought, nobody would ever thought that certain things that are going on now, if you would have told them well before, they would have never been able to see these things. Case in point, right? Nobody would have ever said, going back 20 years ago, I'll even going back 25 years ago, you couldn't tell nobody that men would be dressing up as women and going into women's sports, even combat sports, and physically beating the hell out of a birthright woman, a woman that was born a woman. You couldn't tell somebody that 25 years ago. And now these things are fucking happening. Right? You couldn't tell somebody that the US dollar would start to collapse 25 years ago to the point where now your dollar compared to the Chinese dollar isn't that great. The difference isn't that great. It used to be like $3, $3 or $4 US dollars, or no, it was a lot more. I think it was like 21 yuans to $1 US. Now that gap is fucking close. You couldn't tell somebody that before. You couldn't tell anybody in the world that the US would back down to any country. Now those things are happening. Right? So let me read this again. It says, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time. The prophecies are for an appointed time. But at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarried," meaning though it took a while, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. And that's the time we're in. These things aren't waiting no more. So like the brother said, y'all were right. Our elders and apostles have been preaching for 40 years. And people are coming to the conclusion those men were right. So in the time where the famine of the word is about to kick in, now the scriptures say what? The word of the Lord was let me get it. First Samuel 3:1, it says, "And the child Samuel ministered unto Yahweh before Eli." Right? "And the word of Yahweh was precious in those days. There was no open vision," meaning the prophecies weren't being breaking down like that. There was no open vision. It wasn't easily opened. The Lord didn't loose the seal on those prophecies like that. So people didn't know how to understand the times. So it was precious when somebody started speaking. So when the Lord causes the famine of word and bros aren't teaching like out there like that, when the videos start getting stripped from the internet, and we're not on the highways and byways where you can come see us in the street teaching, the word of the Lord is going to be precious. You heard the dude say it there. He said, and then when I wanted to find y'all, I couldn't find y'all. One of the scriptures that speak volumes when you apply it with a lot of understanding is this one right here. This is Wisdom of Solomon 17, and I'll get to the point. Verse 12, it says, "For fear is nothing else but the betraying of the succors which reason offereth." That word succors, right, literally means help. So fear is nothing but the betraying of the help that reason offers. Just like you'll watch something that's when I was a kid, they used to have that jump scare video on YouTube, right? Where it'd be a car driving down a windy road, and out of nowhere, the bitch from The Conjuring or whatever pops out, or from The Exorcist pops out on the screen and screams. In that moment, when that abrupt change happens, you don't know what's going on. So everybody jumps, screams. They might get scared. So in that moment when you don't have the help that reason brings for that situation, you're terrified. So apply that to everything else. Because the scriptures say that these evils, let me get it, suddenly. This is where is it? This is Apocrypha. What is it? Beyond. This is yeah, here it is. Isaiah 47. Is that the one I want? I just want to make sure. One second, man. Yes, it is Isaiah 47. No. Sirach 9 and 12. It says, "For men also know not his time, as the fishes that are taken in the evil net, and as the birds that are caught in the snare, so are the sons of men snared in an evil time, when it falleth upon them suddenly." So just like that jump scare video that I was explaining, right? When these things all come suddenly, right? Life is going to change out of the blue. Boom. The succoring, right? The help that your reasoning brings you is going to fail, and people are going to be terrified. That's when the word of the Lord is going to be so much more precious, because then the scriptures tell you that this is the comforter. The scriptures provide you the help for your reasoning to bring you comfort. And in a day where the Lord pulls away the men that have been preaching his word, that are providing you those words to comfort, that's when people are really gonna want the word of the Lord. And it's almost over, man. The job is almost done. Right? The job, once the famine of the word kicks in, the job is done, and all we got to do is hold on until the Lord comes and get us out this bitch. Go through whatever we got to go through, whatever was written in the plan for bros. Right? Some bros got to be martyrs. Some bros are going to die. Right? To be martyrs for the Lord. And the Lord's going to give those bros the spirit to bear all of that. Right? This is what's coming. Famine of the word's coming. And the people know where the truth is. Shalom.